Hey guys, Michael and I are on our way to the grocery store and we happened to pass something that we discovered a few years ago. I thought it was cool then.
Yeah.
It's a little cemetery right here in the middle of Uptown, or actually technically South End, Charlotte. And I want to show it to you. I am determined to go home and learn more about it and tell you what I've learned. So let me show you this teeny weeny little cemetery real quick.
Come along.
As you can see, we are in South End, Charlotte, just slightly south of downtown where all the high rises are. But this is a really booming side of town, believe it or not. I'm not going to be able to show you the best examples of such, but this is the side of town Michael and I lived in when we lived here the year before we moved to Florida. We love this end of town. There are all kinds of cool little coffee shops and breweries. There's trivia everywhere. A really good grocery store. We really like this side of town. I don't have time today to ride around and show you the best of South End, but I think you might be interested in this right here. One day when Abra was just a baby little puppy, and it had actually snowed just a little bit, a little dusting. That was the January of 2022. Michael and I took her out for an extra long walk. We wanted to take a look at the snow and see it, how beautiful it is, and we stumbled upon this right here. I actually just thought this was like metal and tile or something left over and didn't think much of it. But later I found out this is actually a cemetery. And at the time I looked up who was buried here or if there's a family here, and I don't remember any of that right now. So we're going to cut to my voiceovers and I'm going to tell you anything I can find out on the internet about this tiny little cemetery here in the middle of South End, Charlotte.
I've seen this cemetery plot referred to by a couple different names online, but for this video we are going to call it the Schumann Cemetery. If you're in Charlotte looking for it, you'll find it at the corner of Remount Road and Youngblood Street, just a couple blocks off the major road South Boulevard that runs through South End. This cemetery is listed on the Mecklenburg County Library's website of known cemeteries in the county as destroyed, as the stone borders are mostly collapsed and the property has probably been graded over the years. There are no visible grave markers. A map of Charlotte from 1935 shows the section of Remount Road as being called Schumann Avenue, and Youngblood Street did not even exist at that time. This plot is about 100 feet by 110 feet, so it appears to have been a small family plot. Records from the library indicate that these are probably the final resting places of descendants of a family called the Schumanns. Persons by the surname Schumann first appeared in the Mecklenburg County Census in the year 1850. Years of false reports of this being an old slave cemetery evolved into investigations being conducted to try to determine if this is the final resting place for unfree laborers in Mecklenburg County. If it holds the bodies of any enslaved persons, they were not associated with the Schumann family. None of the Schumanns were listed as slave owners in either the 1850 or 1860 slave schedules of federal censuses. Margaret Catherine married William Henry Schumann in 1858. The newlyweds were probably bestowed a large portion of land from her father as a wedding gift. The last Schumann thought to be buried here is 27-year-old Madge Williams, who passed away in 1934. The following is a list of people believed to be buried here in the Schumann Cemetery as compiled by their descendants. It is believed that the cemetery was used for 62 years, from 1872 until 1934. James W. Schumann, 1823 to 1872. Catherine Katie Schumann Stone, 1852 to 1880. Margaret Catherine Beatty Schumann, 1842 to 1883. Eddie Schumann, 1877 to 1885. Dumpy Schumann, unknown to 1885. Annie Stone, 1873 to 1895. Rebecca Adeline Little Stone, 1852 to 1892. William H. Schumann, 1838 to 1899. Frank, buried as Baby Frankie, 1899 to 1900. Margaret Schumann Stouffer, 1821 to 1902. Moses Augustus Stouffer, 1831 to 1904. Franklin Washington Schumann, 1861 to 1904, Madge Williams Schumann, 1907 to 1934, John Levi Schumann, 1866 to 1880, Martha Jane Schumann Beatty, 1858 to 1889, and finally an unknown child's grave. Despite the fact that this site is, for all intents and purposes, abandoned, city officials say that no real work or improvement can be done to the site until someone goes through the process of claiming possession of it. Anyone with information about who may own this lot of land at the corner of modern-day Youngblood Street and Remount Road can call 704-432-1579. The cemetery is currently registered with the North Carolina Office of State Archaeology.
All right, I know that was super short and sweet, but I thought you might enjoy it.
Kind of random, isn't it? The property line to another building is right beside a cemetery. But yeah, we found it on a walk years ago, and it's always been something that's intrigued us.
Yeah. It's kind of creepy, but then the few times we've been here, once it was covered in snow, and which, as you can tell, it wasn't covered too deep because you could still see the snow. And then today it was just so sunny. I guess they're resting in peace. It's just, I bet they never could have dreamed what this side of Charlotte has turned into. I was telling the vlog how much we love South End, and we used to live here.
Absolutely love this end of town, and it has blown up so much more than when we lived here. So yeah, it's really nice to see everything that's developed on this end of town for sure.
And it's nice to see they haven't put a high-rise on that little family plot.
For sure, for sure.
All right, guys, we'll see you another day at another adventure.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.